It's time for the Legion After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. We have got so much to talk about. David's back from the orb. Was he gone for a year? Also, this is terrifying. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome back to the Legion After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. We are so glad to be back. If you haven't already, go to youtube.com, search for AFTERBUZZ TV's sci-fi, fantasy, and superhero channel. That's where you'll find us, Legion. Hello, I'm Yael Tygiel. Welcome. We're talking Season 2, Episode 1, Chapter 9. I'm joined by my lovely panel. Rick is here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, guys. Oh, man, I can't believe it's back. I mean, I'm very happy. I'm stoked.
I'm excited too. Hey guys, my name's Kari Lane, and I am impressed with your mask that you made there, man.
But it's an amazing mask. We
It's
also
great.
have a new cast with us.
Hey!
Hey guys, I'm Ashley Brinkman. The mask is terrifying. Really great job. Excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Let's jump into Chapter 9. We have a lot to cover. I want to start where the episode starts with Lenny and Oliver in the pool. We've talked a lot on this show about what year it might be, and I think this episode specifically, they went, you know, it'd be real fun to lose them even more. To go, let's just mix and match these, fashion senses and screw everybody over. What'd y'all think of this opening of Lenny and Oliver in the pool?
Everybody looked good in their swimsuits.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
It was so visually pleasing. I wanted to watch it I could have watched it for an hour.
Yeah.
Just those two together are
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I could have watched them in the pool for an hour. That would have been so good. And I love that Lenny's trying to have a conversation, and Oliver's like, I try never to have conversations about time. That's the quote.
Awesome.
What is that? I feel like that's really an important
It could
thing.
be.
You know what I
Maybe
mean?
it's because we're all talking about what time is this show? When is this set? But then we gave up last season, which I feel this one will be like,
yeah,
it's fine.
exactly. We still haven't
It's
figured it
fine.
out.
I love the hand that comes out of the pool, delivers him a drink, and disappears. There's no one else in that pool. And then she's laughing because they're trapped. And we zoom out to find out they're in the Shadow King's eye, but really they're in Oliver's head in the club. This crazy club, which is a crazy place. And we will get more into the club. We also have these really great new sections that are being split up by the voice of Jon Hamm. Jon Hamm, lovely. I love these 3 sections that we had this week, but also I think that I read that this is going to continue through
I'm
the
down.
season.
Jon
Cool.
Hamm.
Jon Hamm voiceovers.
It's like a narrator.
Yeah, but a narrator
Well-
that doesn't narrate what's happening in the show.
Yeah, I love the breakdowns of like, so this is an example of like mental health essentially. And I was like, all right, cool, and good visuals, thanks.
He did the black screen and
Yeah,
then
the maze. Yeah, so he talks about the maze in your mind, that in itself is a maze. It's an idea of it. And then if you notice, there's the chattering of teeth as he's talking about
Yep.
the maze.
Oh,
And he says, welcome to madness.
that was really creepy.
The big thing that I gotta say is, I mean, some people might hate me for this, but you gotta watch this show in subtitles because when he's doing the narration, it makes it so much easier. Like, try to follow and understand the stories that he's telling. Like, that's the way that I like watching it, and I'm still confused.
I watch everything in subtitles. No, the chattering teeth, it's funny, Not Scary Farm had a tooth fairy maze, and they had little heads that did the chitter teeth too. So I was like, it's the teeth from the maze. But seeing people do it was really creepy.
Oh, so creepy.
Did we find out what that was about? It was just that they haven't figured it out yet.
they're-
Some sort of
This
disease.
is what we know about the chattering teeth, is that it's, I wrote it down, it's the catalyst. That's what they're calling it, and it only happens after Oliver has been there.
Right.
So it is something that is happening because of the Shadow King. So the other scenes that we have from Mr. Jon Hamm is the butterfly or Zhuangzhu, who may be a butterfly or maybe a person that thought he was a butterfly. I love that whole idea where like he's not sure anymore what he is. Have you ever had like a dream that's so real that you wake up and go, did that actually happen or did I dream that?
It's definitely been there.
I think it's a great little proverb, and I saw a short film where they did that, but essentially with scorpions. So, like,
Oh.
were you the scorpion, or were you? Is it you dreaming of that, or are you that thing dreaming of you? And yeah, it's such a weird like. Wait, where was I? It's like when you wake up from a dream and you go like, wait, what time is it? Where am I? And what's going on?
I'm usually out and about, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I feel like I've been here before. What's going on?
The
Deja vu. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more the deja vu.
Or
But
if you
no,
have-
I followed you on the dream thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If you have conversations in your dreams and then you see the person and you're like, have we talked about
We already
this?
we already went over this.
Yeah.
Where have you been? And then we have this disgustingly scary delusion analogy that it starts like any other idea. We have the story of Albert and his leg. But that an idea alone isn't enough. Most ideas are random thoughts and theories, and they die before they grow. But for a delusion to thrive, other more rational ideas must be rejected and destroyed. Only then can the delusion blossom into a full-blown psychosis. And then we have the gross, oily bird.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
The amputee thing is real, though. There are people that, like, feel that way and want their limbs amputated.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, ugh, that's so weird. I don't understand. I want to know where that, like, is rooted that makes you go, I want to do this. And yeah, the oil bird, I was just like, yeah.
The gross, oily bird.
Yeah.
The Rorschach test.
The bird. So gross. We have this bird, and we later see it, but we will get to that in a minute. I think Rick wants to tell us about something wonderful.
Oh, yes, guys. So if you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life, for those who do, we've got the perfect podcast for you, besides Legion, of course. It's Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. It's hosted by our AFTERBUZZ TV founder and fearless leader and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversation with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life, from health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria Menounos be the big sister you've always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know it was the Legion panel that sent you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out.
I think that David could absolutely use some Maria Menounos,
Oh, yes. He needs some guidance.
especially after the oily bird.
Yes.
So, okay. Division 3. This is where things start to make sense.
Sort of.
Sorry. This
so
is
than
where you kind of understand things coming together.
Yes.
You may not know what they mean
Yeah.
or where they're going, but you go, got it. Okay, so Summerland has now merged with Division 3, and they are working together. We have these constant reminders going on in Division 3. I wrote 2 of them down. Be aware of ideas that are not your own. Know your symptoms: confusion, irritability, obsessive thoughts, repetitive sounds, hopelessness, despair. If you feel any of these, tell your mental monitor at once. Those were the 2 that I caught. Did you guys catch any of those voiceover announcements? Because we had those at Summerland.
Oh.
I don't think I
okay.
noticed them as much at Summerlin, but here it felt weird because it's like, who's coming in and taking over that you're warning people constantly about it? Like Summerland, it didn't feel as like oppressively obvious. But this one, you're just like, are we in the normal world? Because then it was like, are you in someone's head that's like, hey, wake up, get out? Or was it, you know, they're just waiting for an entity to come in and start making you do weird things?
Interesting. I feel like my thought is that because they've brought the chattering teeth people into Division 3, that they're worried that whatever they have will spread.
Yeah.
Right? Like a cold?
Yeah,
'cause
it's like when you go to workplace. I mean, someone gets you sick, right? I mean, so that could
They're
that could make
analyzing
sense.
David, and they have the hazmat suits, so.
So we also get to meet Admiral Fukuyama. Can anybody,
Explain.
what? I got it. I wrote it down. I just still, what?
Well, in Bleach, there's a character, and he has that kind of basket thing on his head. So I was like, hey, that's like the anime Bleach.
Oh, is it anything similar?
I don't think so, but
Okay.
a similar, like, it's a warrior who
basket.
has it. I don't know
Great.
the function of it, besides hiding your identity.
Okay. So what I picked up on that was, when they were a boy, they had a machine put into their head, and now they're this, and they're the machine that bleeds. So he's kind of a cyborg. And I read a bunch of stuff where it said that the basket is because he's deformed.
Sure.
So hiding.
Yeah.
Vader. Okay.
And that his mustachioed lady friends that speak for him. Yes?
I went a different way when they said they're the machine that bleeds and they look like women. I was like, that's where I went.
Oh, that's pretty good. I
Because
didn't
it's
think
like
about
they
that.
were boys and now they're the machine that bleeds. And I was like, but they look like ladies.
I get where
But
your
I-
head's at. And I like that.
But I think they're more just not a sex anymore. It's,
Right.
they're
they.
female models as the actor, but
Right.
Just awesome characters.
Oh, they're so cool and
yeah,
weird.
just an introduction of just awesome characters for this season. It's like, what am I looking at? It's just bizarre, but it fits the show.
And they are one. There's 4 of them. They're one.
I thought there was 3. There's
Three,
4?
right?
Well, there's
Well,
3 of
there's
them,
4 with
and
And then him.
Oh, and
then
him.
him. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
they are 4.
Yes. Well, and then they're weird voices too.
Because it's a machine.
Yeah.
David's reaction was exactly fine. I was just like, this is awkward. Like, exactly what he was portraying. I was like, yes, I feel that.
Well, also because he can't read their minds, and they're aware that he's trying, which makes me wonder: can they read his?
We heard his thoughts,
Ooh.
so I was wondering
We
that
heard his
too.
thoughts. Yeah.
I want to say
Interesting.
no, they can't.
Okay.
Because I think he would know. I think he would know if they tried, and if that moment, if they did, he'd be like, "Whoa, get out!" Like we would have heard that.
Okay.
But maybe
Maybe.
it's one of those like maybe they haven't tried yet.
Maybe. So we have Division 3. We now kind of understand what they are. There are 3 divisions. There's the investigation, which is Ptonomy and Clark. Clark is his name. The agent with the burned face. The agent has a name, Clark. Research, which is male Kari. Tactical, female Kari. And then strategy, which is Sydney and Melanie. I love the way that our team has melded with Division 3. It does make a lot of sense that they should be working together. Any thoughts onto how that's going to play out? Because there's no way that can stay so polite. I was like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
it's interesting, right? Because it's that whole philosophy of if you can't beat them, then join them. So there's that aspect of it. But as we know right now, so far they've been working together for maybe at least a year. Maybe at least in some time frame of a year.
Yes, within a year.
But then we do see the debates when they get to the Sid part. You know, like we see them debating, like they're having this big
arguing.
argument at the table. So
Well, they have a common enemy, which brought them together, obviously.
Right.
So I'm wondering, this is a jumping the gun a tad bit,
No,
sorry,
go for it.
when Sid says help him, I'm wondering if that's going to be the catalyst to disrupt their friendliness towards each other.
Interesting. I like that a lot. And I like what you were saying about that if you can't beat them, join them. Because it makes me wonder, of these 2 groups, to me it feels like if you can't beat them, join them. Well, Summerland joined Division 3, but Summerland could have beat Division 3. I think Division 3 was like, we don't want to fight anymore. Join us, because you're going to kill us if we don't.
I think we left off with the stack of men.
Yes.
Happened?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, Summerland went up. Woof. We have child soldiers, because under a certain age you can't be infected. And Clark tells us that Farouk came to be in the early 1800s in Morocco. And now, so we at least know we're in the 1900s.
This is true.
right?
I don't think I doubted that.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
Because at least there's at least a car, so right.
Yeah.
There's at least a car that we've seen. So.
Or are we in the 2000s? Who knows? Oh. And then we have this story about Clark in the soap operas with his mom and the ice cream drinking
I was
game.
waiting for him to be like, I was a fat kid. I was like, where is it coming? And it was as he's leaving, I'm like, there it is.
Yeah, because drinking games get you drunk. Eating a lot of ice cream can get you fat.
Well, the point more was how common it happens in soap. So I
Right.
was waiting for the "it's common"
Yeah.
line. It just they delayed it, which was nice because it's like you knew it was coming, but you didn't know when that line was going to drop.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So Ptonomy also talked to David and said that he saw his memories. He saw that he was at the nightclub and Oliver's there, and that maybe the Shadow King still has a hold of him, which I think is very much supported later when we see the gross, oily bird under his bed in the Mind Palace. But before we get to that, I want to take a minute, if I may, to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you for joining us on this very special Sunday edition of the Legion After Show for the season premiere. We will be returning to Wednesdays starting Wednesday, so please stay with us. Also, we ask you to do a very simple thing. Go to iTunes, subscribe so you don't miss a single thing, but also rate and review us. If you like us, you can give us 5 stars. If you don't like us, you can give us 4 stars. The other stars, they do not work. I have broken them. You're welcome. But if you give us 4 stars because you don't like us, I expect you to write why. That'd be very helpful so we can improve. But if you give us 5 stars and you do like us, also Why? So we can continue to do that. Thank you. Great. iTunes. We're also on YouTube. Make sure you've subscribed. Let's get back to Sid.
Also, I was going to say real quick, for if you guys are watching this live, we do have a live chat, so feel free to join us. If you're watching it later, comment down below your thoughts on the episode. So we're live every week, so you can chat with us. But if it's at a weird time, comment later.
Yep. Let's talk about Sid. We meet her practicing switching bodies with cats. My favorite moment of the episode is her licking herself. That's for people who don't know, I love cats. The idea of a person as a cat makes me very happy.
Yeah.
I just like that it didn't freak out, though, because that's happened in things before where an animal becomes a human and it just, like, freaks out.
Yeah. I think it's really wonderful that that's what she's been doing with her time for the last year, right? Like,
I didn't know she could. I was excited to see you could do that with animals.
yeah, I really like that she's been practicing and seeing what she can do. Also, I hope this is foreshadowing her later being a cat.
Yes.
It could be useful. I'm thinking, like, animorphs, turn
Yep.
into an animal and get somewhere where you couldn't get if you were a human.
Cats.
Well, I guess she won't be able to be detected by the Shadow King
Yeah.
if she's an animal.
Oh.
Ooh, I
Oh.
like that thinking.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole I mean, I can go down this big hole of like stuff, but I mean, like isn't there the whole thing of like a if we're thinking of like Mafrouk, then I'm thinking like the Middle East or like that area,
Right.
like Egypt area, and then like then the
Born in
cats.
Morocco,
Cats, yeah, cats have a certain mysticism,
Sure.
in that type of a culture. So, like you were saying, maybe that's to morph and block out.
Oh, I like where your head's
That's
going.
really down the rabbit hole for now, but
But it's a
know, it's
nice
good.
thought.
We're
so,
going down the rabbit
yeah,
hole.
especially if they're cats. Sid lets us know that it's been nearly a year. Everyone thought that he was dead, and that she's been doing this thing where she's holding her breath for him. I'm not a fan of this. I don't like when a woman who is strong and powerful spends a year literally holding her breath for her man.
I was kind of confused by that. At first, I was like, all right, sure, you're doing that to pass the time. But at the end, she's involved with the orbs. So does
Yeah.
she have some insight? And, like, why would she be holding her breath if she knew something?
Well, so she's in the orb. We'll get to the orb. Hold that thought. We will
holding it.
get to the orb. So Sid basically has felt abandoned. That's really all we get from her this episode is you left me again. I feel abandoned. And Melanie is feeling the same thing. But Melanie...
Doing drugs.
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah,
Melanie's
she's a wreck, man. She's a train wreck. It's not like she's like depressed. I mean, there's like a big train wreck. with
Her
her.
hair is all like
Yeah.
meh.
But Melanie also, like, her man was gone for years. And then he came back for like half a second and didn't remember her.
That'd be crushing, though.
Yeah,
You
so
know what?
I get why she's doing drugs.
It's because
Yeah.
he didn't remember if she was Chinese or Japanese, and he's like, oh, she's white. So he was like, wait, who are you? I can say that. No, I'm kidding.
I think anyone could say that.
Yeah.
You couldn't remember.
That's
if
what he said.
Yeah.
So we have this great lovemaking scene in their mind palace with Sid and David. I'm
Yep.
glad they're still doing that.
Well, we were watching the episode together, and I'm like, well, if they're to the point where they're officially dating, who cares if they body swap? Because that might be kind of cool to feel what your partner feels when you guys are together. And then if you guys are just gonna cuddle anyways, it doesn't matter which body you're in. You're both enjoying it.
Yeah, it's
So,
true.
Why not?
Nah, not if she like really likes being Little Spoon and they
That's true.
spoon and
But then
they
they can
swap.
swap spots. Just move when you like swap back.
It would be weird to be looking at yourself, though,
Right.
in that
I mean, unless you're a
situation.
narcissist.
Yeah, that's true. That's why you close your eyes. That's why you just close
I've
your
been all
eyes.
about this.
I don't
I
think
was
we
all
thought
time-
about that.
No,
first,
Time Traveler's
but-
Wife has that a little bit in it as well. If you meet yourself, he does some things with himself in his younger years. Side note.
I think I gotta see this movie.
Spoiler alert.
Well, it's in the book at least. But it was, they're an established relationship, so I'm glad they're not being all like, I can't.
Well, because
be
it's
with you.
been a minute for him.
Yeah, that's true. He's like, whatevs.
Like, I saw you yesterday. We did this yesterday.
But she's like, yeah, you're gonna kiss me right now.
Yeah. I really like that she's standing by her man. But Melanie tells her that after your man comes back, things are never the same, which is interesting. And then she gets a compass that will always point to David.
Very cute.
Let's talk about David. This is the main the main story of Legion is Legion. So he's found at the club by Ptonomy and Clark, and he says, help them, they're in a maze, in a club full of chattering people. The chattering people we've discovered is the catalyst, which means that Oliver has been there. He's brought to Division 3. Carrie wakes him up, and female Carrie, I love this scene where male Carrie is like trying to wake him up, and female Carrie comes out and is like, I got this. Because it's her versus a bunch of children.
I do like though when she comes out when David's about to get naked.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, of
great.
course she's like, naked? What? I'm here. David's gonna be naked? Okay.
You make people uncomfortable.
That's a great line.
It was
Yeah.
so good. Their relationship makes me so happy.
I love that character.
I forgot how much I loved the two of them. So, after David meets the admiral, he's told that they're in a race to find Farouk's body. That's basically, I think, our season arc, right? It's really nice that this is so different from last season, where we had to, figure out what was real.
Right. Yeah. We had no idea. What was real, what wasn't real. If it was a dream, if it was like somebody on drugs.
Who was in his head? Who was actually there?
Actually, someone kind of brought up in the chat, and a good question we should talk about.
Yes.
Patanomy goes in his head, and, why doesn't he just access the memories kind of like before? Because right now it does seem like there's some missing.
Yeah.
So is the question, are the dreams missing? Is David blocking Patanomy from them, or what?
Excellent
Thoughts?
questions. Patanomy says, I've seen a few. And Sid asks, is it a year's worth? So we don't know exactly. Because what he says that he remembers is that he was shouting. He lands on a roof of trees atop of a building. And then there's that dance off.
Amazing.
The dance off.
So good.
I love when this show does stuff like that. Every episode last season felt like someone went, how can we make this a different movie and do a different genre and just fill it with beautiful colors and lights? And I think they're continuing that this season.
That's true. It's like the show is not. It's not a typical TV show. It's not. It's not TV. It's like every episode is a mini film.
And this dance off was its own thing. I'm not sure I understand it, and I don't think
it's
I
like
need to.
It was more of a dance battle too.
Right.
Yeah, because at first you're like, what? Oh, they're essentially fighting. I get it. Because at first you're just like, wait, what? Though I would say I liked the music because it was almost kind of hypnotic, but I would have wanted something a little more, like I wanted it to make me want to dance with them kind of a thing, but I just felt it was a little detached compared to before, like watching the other version of Shadow King, female dancing.
Lenny?
Like you're just like, I want to do that too kind of a thing. But this one I just felt like you're just watching a cool spectacle. You didn't want to jump in and
I see.
join.
I see.
I did.
I kind of like.
I wanted to do the
Yeah.
whole.
It definitely felt
You ready?
very,
Yeah,
like,
you're like-
trans-like, where it was
Yeah.
like hypnotic, and then we see Carrie dancing, and I was
Yeah,
like,
that
I
was
was like,
That's a
cute.
lot of fun.
It's translating. He's hypnotized.
So he's hearing that. I
thought so.
How did you
Yeah.
interpret that?
Well, because he said, I'm going to have the headphones or something that I couldn't quite tell if he hears and sees or thinks it or just hears it. Like, I know he's able to sense some of what David's doing.
Okay.
Or at least that's how I understood it, that he gets some
Right. They were
Of
like
it.
getting
connected in a way.
notes on what was happening.
Yeah.
Whether it was visual or auditory
Yeah.
or just written. There's a dance fight. This amplification chamber, which was basically a sensory deprivation chamber with strawberry flavoring. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so Sid apparently in the orb. Oh, before we continue from the dance off, there was some bald dude. Anyone on the bald
Albino
dude?
black dude.
Go on.
Oh, I was like, yeah. No, they did the close up, and I'm like, oh, he's like albino because his eyelashes were white.
Oh, were they?
And then, because then later with his features, I was like, oh, that's a really great visual character choice. And then that kind of is an interesting thought with Morocco too, of
Interesting.
where he could be. I don't know if that's the body or representation of it.
You know, and then remember Shadow King, the demon with the yellow eyes, devil with the yellow eyes. I mean,
Right.
same, dome, no hair.
Which I think
Yeah.
is why he was
I
following
noticed
him.
he was the bald dude. I'm like, as soon as they came in, I'm like, bald dude on the dance floor. He totally stands out. And then I thought he was, I was like, okay, that stands out. And then we saw his face. I'm like, oh, they found a really cool actor for that.
Well,
Yeah.
so I assumed that David was following him because he thought that was the Shadow King,
That's what I thought
but
too.
that it wasn't, and now it's something else.
He also had
It could be.
markings.
Markings, yeah.
It reminded me of the greasy chick.
Oh,
Because there's always like a trail of grease
Yeah.
with the chick, and then we saw it on his head. I don't know if there's any connection,
interesting.
but that's
and
what I
literally
thought
a chick.
of. Yeah.
The oily gross thing. Okay, so Sydney apparently came to David in the orb, uses a pen light. Okay, here's my complaint.
Okay.
She does all these symbols to say things to him,
Yes.
and then writes out the words, help him. Girl, if you could write out words, why were we doing Pictionary?
Because it was cool
Anyone?
to see David try to figure it out. Well, the other ones were a little easier to understand, like the hourglass time. Good, got it.
Yeah, but the me was literally a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one.
You, literally a circle.
That one's a little weird.
Thank you. I
But
love
the heart at the end.
the heart was great.
Yeah, of course.
I
like,
love when he sees the gift and he goes, "You got a gift for me," and he goes, "Present." I went, first of all, does not look like a gift.
Yeah, I was thinking that
It's
too.
a box and the
Yeah, I know,
ribbons.
but the ribbons
I
were
got
like,
it.
I don't know. The ribbons were a little off.
Yeah.
I would have done like something like a lot bigger.
Right.
To like,
I
you
would
know,
have
in a box,
separated
and then the box.
and the
Yeah,
ribbons.
ribbon and then box.
She wasn't the best
No,
drawer, but,
But
you know.
he even goes, "I'm good at this." I wanted to be like, "Of course you
Yes.
are. This is scripted." No, if she could write out words like "help him," she could have written out things like "present" or "future."
Or, hey, here's everything I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Let me write a
Or
sentence.
just like, hold up. I thought it was really weird, though, how she was holding her arm.
Yes.
I'm like, is she missing an arm?
she was not missing an arm. She
No,
was
it's
holding
the
it.
glove. Yeah,
Interesting. I also noticed she had the
Locket.
The necklace.
the
yeah.
necklace
I love her
compass.
scarf shawl thing, too.
Yes.
Because
So
she was from the future.
right,
Yeah.
which I think
weird.
she didn't need to say because of the
She already had it.
she had the necklace. So I think that he could have. Well, I mean, I guess he wouldn't have known it then, but he would know it now.
I mean, something that was interesting. So, if you guys been following Twitter and like our
Oh.
tweets, Kari Lane and I went to this like pop-up exhibit for Legion, and the poster for Sid, yeah, she's wearing that necklace. And so, like, I remember when I was there, the person I was with like pointed it out and said, "Hey, you know, that is that from season 1?" And then as soon as we watched this, it's just like, oh, it's for
Yeah.
this season. So it's really cool to see it.
Interesting.
we
So it's
got-
going to play a good part.
We got a theory from the chat on the writing. Jay Becker says the future Sid writing in the orb. Perhaps someone is watching them or is about to come in, so rushed with the words instead of drawing. You know, like it's maybe that's why if like
Fine.
somebody's nearby or something.
I'll allow it.
No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and then somebody else thought she had an arm missing too. Just because it was so stiffly at her side.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Well, it's strange that we had the dysmorphia, body dysmorphia
Yeah,
thing, and then we saw her like that. So I was thinking, ooh, something weird happened, but I think it was
hope
just
not.
the glove.
Yeah.
I think it was the
just the glove.
Yeah. I love where your thoughts are. We have so much still to predict, I assume. Is there anything from this episode you want to make sure that we touched on? Or can we head into our predictions?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we're
guess,
heading
yeah,
into
it's like,
predictions.
I guess we're doing it.
I'm okay with that. Predictions.
Oh, waffle boat. That was cool.
I'm hungry. I want waffles.
I'm sorry, that restaurant was a diner with sushi boats.
Yep. Uh-huh.
But with
With
waffles,
waffles
yes.
and ice cream.
And in water too, not just like a conveyor belt. I was like, where is this?
I love how these like hard like D3 like we're just like part of the FBI or beyond.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we need a waffle boat.
Right.
with whipped cream
Restaurant.
and
Yeah.
yeah. Just so like what?
So silly. I don't know if you all saw the This Season on Legion promo at the end of the episode, but here are some things I picked up. So Clark to Sid, your boyfriend is extremely powerful mutant who could destroy the world. David tells Sid that she was in the orb. Male Carrie notices that he may have constructed the orb, which would make sense how Sid got into it because if he constructed... Anyway. The end of the world is coming is Lenny and Farouk are together. That's all I caught. I wrote more happens. I can't catch it all. That's what I wrote. So for those who don't know, I don't believe this is a spoiler in terms of casting, but Farouk is being played by Naveed. Oh, I do not remember his last name.
It's not necessarily a huge spoiler because if you guys, Carrie and I, we tried to go to the carpet for the premiere. We were denied for whatever reason, but he was there. He was
Yeah.
on the carpet, so
Yeah.
it's not really a spoiler.
Also, he was in this episode when we see them through when they leave the pool into someone sitting there. Naveed Negaban, I believe, is how his last name
yeah,
is.
his credits are in it too. So
Yeah, and he is also very well known from Homeland.
Homeland,
Yeah. Amazing actor. So we see a lot of him. So he is, I believe, the body of Farouk. So that we'll see this season. Any things that you would like to predict or think about? Some things you've put together in your heads?
I'd like to see Melanie get out of that funk, or see
Nah.
or to see what I mean, clearly she has to do something. Like she can't just stay. At least I hope it doesn't go on for too many episodes.
Yeah.
But now that David is back, that's got to trigger something for her to be like, wait a minute, you're back. So
For example, it could trigger her showing us what her powers are.
That's what I was gonna ask. We haven't seen that yet, have we?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year, we established her powers were bringing the team together. The power of friendship.
Leadership.
Yes.
It takes a lot to bring a group together, so
True.
sure. But yeah,
I'm hoping we find out what's in the orb pretty soon.
What
yeah.
do you mean?
Or maybe if somebody's watching
its
them in
function?
their
Oh,
orb,
like what
the
else was
future.
there?
Yeah.
I want to know about the help him. I have a
Yeah.
feeling. So the question is it help the Shadow King, or is it help
Oliver.
Admiral Fukuyama, or is it help Oliver? There are lots
It's a
of
very
many-
broad
lots of
statement.
hymns. Also, there was an amazing theory that I saw on Reddit that is not really set in anything, but it's a good theory that Admiral Fukuyama has almost all of the letters, in theory, of Amal Farouk, plus a few extras.
As in like the spelling of his name?
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Ooh, like,
so,
like,
like,
like an amalgam?
so
we
like
can-
maybe they are connected.
Oh, I'm gonna start.
Maybe?
I'm gonna start
Yeah.
going and like trying to find definitions and. see
I
that-
love that theory.
That one's really
It's
good.
based on absolutely nothing. I just want to clarify that that is not a like. That's probably not it. But
Still a good one though.
They could be connected though,
yes,
but that's
yeah,
it's too vague. It was like that's one of those like you should have gotten some clarification there.
Yeah.
Him? Which him?
yes.
Or at least had him ask.
But maybe that's why it's written out. It's because we're supposed to think
help
about that.
him. Ah, it was with a capital H. God, help God. Maybe it was help your father. Maybe it's gonna be Xavier. No, I'm kidding.
Well, he did that. He's like, because my dad, and then like that was the only drop we got. We're
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yep.
And we just see the wheel with the X on it, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Weird drug-induced thing. I want to know more. We have Melanie, the
Oh,
weird
the creature that walked
upside
by?
down wheelchair, arm, legs, and like bunny head thing. I'm like, it's a jackalope person.
Yes.
It was very bizarre, and I want to know if that actually is a thing or it's just drugs
Hallucination?
making her brain weird.
I would like to know how much of the gross thing, the gross oily thing, has infected David.
Yeah.
Because I think that it definitely has. And I wonder if it got to him in the club or somewhere else. Maybe it was in the orb.
Something that he brought back, yeah.
So many
Could be.
things! So many questions! Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I don't know. That's what I like about the show because it kind of just drops you in. It's like, don't worry, we'll get to it later, but you're not so confused that you're just like, I don't like it. You're just like, I want to know more. So I'm just excited to
that's-
see where it goes.
I agree. I loved that this episode was like super crazy weird things. There's a dance battle. There's Jon Hamm narrating things. But also they put things together. They went, here's where we are now. And David is now supposed to be our perspective. Whereas last season we were an outsider trying to figure out what's going on with David's life. I think this season he is supposed to be our perspective.
Interesting.
Yeah. So until Wednesday, we'll be back for the next episode of Legion. Terrifyingly terrifying. Let's tell everybody where they can keep up with you.
You guys can find me at Ashley_Brinkman. It was so nice being here with you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome to the panel.
Welcome to the panel. Welcome to the season, the crazy season.
Yeah.
10 episodes, or we'll be at 9 left now.
Yeah. Carrie, where can people keep up with you?
And yeah, you guys can follow me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE.
Hey guys, and I'm Rick Hong. You can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, RICKHONG, and I'm about to jump onto my Netflix picks, so watch that next.
I'm Yael Tygiel everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And Thursdays, I'm here at AfterBuzz talking SVU, the greatest show of all time. And we'll see you next week. Oh,
Later,
Wednesday.
guys. Later, guys.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.